So in the previous classes, we have discussed about the inheritance concepts. So we have seen the types of inheritances. So what are the types of inheritance? How many types you can implement the inheritance concepts? So there are three types. First one is single inheritance. Second one is multi-level inheritance. Third one is hierarchical inheritance. We have three types of inheritance supported by Java. There is another type of inheritance called multiple inheritance. So multiple inheritance means multiple superclasses. Multiple superclasses. So that is not possible in Java. So in Java, we have only one superclass. We don't have the multiple superclasses. So we cannot implement the multiple inheritance. So even though Java doesn't support it, but there is a concept called interfaces. So there is a concept called interfaces. So by using the interfaces, we can implement the multiple inheritance concept to some extent. So this is all about the types of inheritance. And then we have seen the universal superclass. That means object. So object is a superclass for all the subclasses. So object class supports some methods. We have discussed those methods. And then we have seen the some keywords, final keyword and super keyword. So what is the purpose of final keyword? So the purpose of final keyword is used along with the variables or methods or class. So it means that it is a constant. That means no modification is allowed when you declare the variable or class or any method as final. Then we have discussed about the super keyword. Super keyword means if you have the same name, same variable name or same method name, then we will compiler has to distinguish the two variables or two methods. So to distinguish the uh, same names, we use the super keyword, super of a comma b. Like that we can use the super keyword. So main purpose of super keyword is to distinguish the names of the variables. That means if you have the variable in superclass X, so same variable name X is used in the subclass. So same name we are using. Then there is a need to distinguish those things. So that can be done through the superclass, super keyword. Then we have seen the constructor method. So how the constructors are implemented. We have seen the constructors while implementing the inheritance concepts. So here constructors are implemented sequentially. So if you have the classes X, Y, Z, so if you want to create an object of type Z, objz, I am displaying the method objz.display. That means in order to display the Z constructor, Z constructor, so Z constructor is implemented under the class Z. So class Z extends the properties of class Y. That means controls goes to the class Y. So class Y extends the properties of class X. That means so class Y control goes to the class X. So class X is the main class. So then main class constructor is implemented first. Then Y class constructor implemented. Then Z class constructor implemented. So if you want to implement the constructors, those constructors are displayed or implemented sequentially. So then we have seen the most important concept, method overloading and method overriding. So what is the main difference between method overloading and method overriding? So method overloading means we have the same name, same signature. That means we have the same name for both the methods, same name, same return type, same name, same return type, and same parameters. That is overriding or overloading. if you have the same overloading, if you have the same name but different signatures means that is overloading. If you have the same name and same signatures means that is overriding. That is overriding. Overriding means, so two methods have the same return type, same name, same list of parameters, same arguments. But in the method overloading, only method name is same. The return type is different, the parameter list is different. The signature is entirely different in method overloading. But method name and method signature both are same in the method overriding. We have seen some examples regarding method overloading and method overriding. So then we have seen the dynamic method dispatch. So dynamic method dispatch. Also we have seen the binding. So there are two types of binding, static binding as well as dynamic binding. So static binding means compile time binding. Dynamic binding means runtime binding. So it can be called as late binding. So binding means so association between the method call and method definition. So there must be an association between the method call as well as the method definition. So whenever we call the method has to be implemented. So there is a need to link the method declaration as well as method definition. So that can be done through static binding or dynamic binding. So in inheritance concepts are implemented by using the dynamic binding, late binding. So here there is another concept called dynamic method dispatch. Dynamic method dispatch. That means we can implement the inheritance concepts dynamically. That means runtime. So that we can call it as runtime polymorphism. That can be called as runtime polymorphism. Runtime polymorphism is implemented by using the dynamic binding. So that we will call it as dynamic method dispatch. Dynamic method dispatch. So polymorphism means more than one forms. So same method name is same. So the method will behave accordingly whenever the program requires. That means same method can act as different ways. So that is polymorphism. So runtime polymorphism means so the method can implement the different behavior at the runtime. So that is called runtime polymorphism. This can be implemented in Java through dynamic method dispatch. This can be implemented in Java through dynamic method dispatch. So it can be, the main concept is it can be implemented through superclass reference. Superclass reference. So suppose, for example, we have the three classes, class X, Y, Z. So X is the superclass, Y and Z are subclasses. So we can implement the dynamic method dispatch by using the superclass reference. That means superclass object. Superclass object. By using the superclass object, we can implement the dynamic method dispatch. That means we can implement the runtime polymorphism. So that is dynamic method dispatch. So let us see the example. Already we have seen the example. Let us revisit this. So we have a class X. It has a method. Is defining some method. Okay. So there is a class Y which extends the properties of class X, and he is using the same method void display. Here also void display. So same method is using. So method overriding. Same list of parameters are passed. Return type is same. Method name is same. So this is method overriding. Same method, same definition. Then he is declaring the class Z which extends the properties from class Y, and he is again defining the method, same method overriding, void display. So these are all the classes. We have three classes, X, Y, Z. X is the superclass, Y and Z are subclasses for X. So both all these three classes are implementing the one method, display method. They are implementing the display method. So here comes the concept of method overriding. This is method overriding. So then he is creating the main class. This is the main class, public static void when main method. Then he is creating the objects, creating the object X, obj X of type X. So this is the syntax for creating the objects. Then we are creating the object y of type of class y. Is creating the object of type z. So then, so up to now the program is simple. So generally what we will do is, after this, after creating the methods, we can call the methods. We can implement the methods. We can implement the methods as obj x dot display. Next obj y dot display. Next obj z dot display. So this is the general execution of the program, execution flow of the program. So this is how the method is displayed, method is called. So but here the method names are same. Method names are same. So these methods are called by using the objects. By creating the objects, we can access the methods. Objx, that means x class method is implemented. This is the class x. Next obj.y. Objy dot display means objy means class wise y object. So this can be implemented. Next obj z dot display means z class method will be displayed. So this is how the execution follows. But here using the dynamic method dispatch. That means runtime polymorphism. So if you want to implement the runtime polymorphism, we need a superclass reference. We need a superclass reference. So here superclass is X. So X is a superclass. So X is a superclass. So here X is a superclass. I am creating the object REFX. I am creating the reference X. That means we are creating the object of type X. So we are assigning the object X is equal to objx. That means objx is assigned to reference X. So we are taking the superclass reference. So here superclass object is objx. So I am taking this reference. So we can display the methods by using this object refx. We can access the methods by using refx. So refx dot display. Next I am assigning the refx to objy. Then I can call the method refx dot display. So I am going to call all the methods by using this same object here, same object reference here. So refx dot display. So here I am using three objects for displaying. Here I am using the three objects, objx, objy, objz. So this is compile time polymorphism. So this will be implemented at the compile time. So here if you have the same object reference means that can be done at the runtime. That can be done at runtime. Here three objects. That means three times the compiler will execute. So here if you create the same object, if you call all the three methods by using the same object means that can be implemented at the runtime. So here the concept is we are going to creating the one reference variable, reference object of type superclass. So here superclass is X. So I am creating the object of type X. So I am going to assign, each time I am going to assign the X objects, Y object and Z object. Class X object, class Y object and class Z object. So class X object is objx. Class Y object is objy. Class Z object is objz. So I am going to assign objz to reference variable, objy to reference variable. So by using that I am going to call the methods. So this is called dynamic method dispatch. So this is called runtime polymorphism. So runtime polymorphism can be implemented by using the superclass reference. So in the runtime polymorphism, we need a superclass reference. So this is dynamic method dispatch. So this is dynamic method dispatch. Okay, na? ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయా దీంట్లో? డైనమిక్ మెథడ్ డిస్పాచ్. So next one, abstract classes. So next one is abstract classes. So what do you mean by abstract classes? So the class which consists of the abstract methods, then it is called the abstract classes. So what do you mean by abstract method? So abstract method means the method doesn't have any definitions. The method doesn't have any members. Simply the skeleton will be there. That type of methods are called abstract methods. So the method, the method is encapsulated to a class. So that class is called abstract class. So the class which consists of the abstract methods is called abstract class. So abstract methods means skeleton method. That means the method has no definition. Simply the method is empty. That type of methods are called abstract methods. So let us see this. The abstract methods are not fully defined in superclass. Fully defined in superclass. So in the superclass, we have some skeleton methods, some simply declaration type methods. So only subclasses contain their own version of the full definition. So here in inheritance, we have superclass as well as subclass. So in the superclass, it consists of some methods. So as well as subclass consists of some methods. That means subclass implements the superclass methods. So here in the superclass, we have the method without any definition. That means, let us see one example. So I am going to create a class X. So I am creating some method display. So I am going to create the method display. So in this display method, I am not writing anything. So this is empty method. Then I have some instance variables X, comma, Y, Z. So this is the class X. Next, I am going to define the class Y. I am going to define the class Y. So class Y extends the properties of class X. So class Y extends the properties of class Y. So here also I am going to create a one function display. So this is method overriding. So in inheritance, we get the method overriding. Same method, same parameter list I am using. But here in superclass, we don't have the method definition. We don't have the superclass definition, or simply like this. There is no definition here. So here in the subclass, I am going to define this variable system.out.println display abstract class. So this is the method definition. So I am closing the method, closing the class. So here see this. X is a superclass. So X is a superclass. Y is the subclass. Superclass has the method display. Superclass has the method display. Subclass also has the method display. So both the methods are of same name. Method overriding is done here. Same method is override here. So but here the method has no definition. So method has no definition. Method has no definition. So the definition is defined in the subclass. Method definition has in the subclass. So these type of classes are called abstract classes or abstract methods. So here you can implement the abstract class or abstract method by using the keyword abstract. So we can declare this class as abstract. We can declare this class as abstract. Abstract. We can declare those classes as abstract class X. Then the method has abstract display. Abstract display. So this is how we can implement the abstract classes. So let us see one example. So let us check this. So just implementation of the abstract class, how the abstract classes will be implemented. So let us check this example. So I am creating the class demo. So here class name is demo. So the class is abstract type. That's why I'm using the keyword abstract. That's why I'm using the keyword abstract. So this is the abstract class. Demo is the abstract class. So I am using the method display. Demo class has the method display. So the method has no definition, no return type. This can be declared as public, and the method is also abstract. That means the method has no definition. Simply the skeleton we are displaying. So then this method is identified as abstract method. So this method is called as abstract method. So this class is called as abstract class. So this is the abstract class. Display is the abstract method. So abstract class and abstract methods are identified by using the keyword abstract. So let us see what happening next. So next is creating some method sum. He's passing some variables, arguments x comma y. So he's initializing x to a, y to b. So he's calculating the sum value and he's returning the a plus b value. So the return type is int. So demo class has two methods. One is display, another one is sum. So demo class has two methods. One is display, another one is sum. So display method is abstract method, whereas sum is not abstract method. So sum has a definition. So this is all definition. Sum class has definition. So this is not abstract class. So this is one class created. Next, he's creating the another class demo t. Demo t is another class which extends the properties of demo. Demo t is the subclass. Demo is the superclass. So this is the superclass. So this is the subclass. So this is the subclass. So here he is creating the same method display. Same method display. But here he is going to define the display method. Here there is no definition. Here there is no definition. That's why it is called as abstract method. So the overridden method is defined in the subclass. The overridden method is displayed in the defined in the subclass. Next, main method, creating an object. Then we are going to access the method by using the object. Then I am displaying the sum, d dot sum. So this is the simple program for illustrating the abstract classes. So abstract classes means abstract keyword will be there. Abstract method means abstract keyword will be there. So the method is skeleton. That means the method has no definition. So the method definition is there in the subclass. So that is the usage of abstract classes in inheritance. So next, let us see the interfaces. So how the interfaces are used in the inheritance. So in the previous classes, we have said that multiple inheritance is achieved by using the interfaces. So let us see what do you mean by interfaces first. So multiple interfaces multiple inheritance of a class is not permitted in Java. To some extent, this restriction can be overcome through the interfaces. So a class may implement more than one interfaces besides having the one superclass. So a class can implement the more than one interfaces, but in inheritance, a superclass can implement only one subclass. So this is the definition of interface. An interface is a collection of constants and abstract methods. So interface is nothing but some constant or some abstract methods. So abstract methods means the method which has no definition. The skeleton methods are constant. Constant means x equal to 10. That is a literal. Or pi is equal to 3.414. That is a constant. So interface is a collection of either constants or abstract methods. Let us see the example. So an interface cannot implement itself like a class. So an interface can be implemented by using the class. Interface cannot be implemented directly as class. That means class student, class X, class Y. We are writing the class members within the class. But if you want to implement the interfaces means we can't write directly the interface A, interface B, interface C. So if you want to implement the interfaces means we need a class. We need a class to implement the interfaces. So an interface just contains the method head, that is abstract method head, and there is no method body. That means there is no method definition. So that is the abstract method. The class that implements the interface contains the full definition of the method. So the definition will be either in the other class or in the subclass. So let us see one program. So let us check this one. So interface is a keyword. Interface name is 1. Interface name is 1. So which is defined as pi is equal to 3.14. That means it is a constant. We are assigning the variable pi as 3.14. That is a constant. Then we are defining the radius value as 10. So that is constant. So interface name is 2, TWO2. So interface is a keyword. Then 3 is the third interface, which is the abstract method. Area is the method name. The method has no definition. The method has no definition. The keyword is interface. So this is the definition of interface. That means interface is a collection of either constant values or abstract methods. So these are the constant values: 3.14, 10.0, literal, floating point literal. This one is also floating point literal. So interface name is 1, interface name is 2, interface name is 3. So these can be declared as by using the keyword interface. By using the keyword interface. So these are the interfaces definitions. So these 3 interfaces cannot be implemented directly. So if you want to implement these 3 interfaces, we need a class. So we need a class to implement the interfaces. So I am creating the class circle. Class name is circle, which implements the interfaces 1, 2, 3. Implements is a keyword. Implements is a keyword which is used to implement the interfaces, defined interfaces. So here we have defined the 3 interfaces, 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, all these 3 interfaces are implemented by using the class circle. By using the class only we can implement the interfaces. So a class can implement more than one interface at a time. A class can implement more than one interface, 1, 2, 3. This can be possible in interfaces. So there is no need to create a 3 classes for 3 interfaces. So single class is efficient to implement the n number of interfaces. So there is no condition that we have 3 interfaces. We need 3 classes. There is no assumption that. So we need a single class to implement any number of interfaces. So let us see the class members. So here is defining the method area. He is defining the method as pi into radius, radius into radius. So pi radius values are defined in interfaces. Pi radius values are defined in interfaces. So method is defined in class. Then he is creating the another class interface. He is going to create the another class, that is main class. This is the main class. Then this is the main method. Then if you want to access those things, we need a class, we need an object. So I am creating an object C of type circle. Circle is a class, C is an object. So I am creating an object C in order to access the method double. In order to access the class members, we need an object. So I am creating the object C dot area. I am invoking the method area. So this is how you can implement the interfaces. So this is how you can implement the interfaces. Okay now? So these are the interface definitions. So these 3 interfaces cannot be implemented directly. So if we need a class, so I am creating the class. I am implementing the interface method. So area is a method which is defined as interface, abstract method. So abstract method definition will be there in the class. So I am creating the class here. I am defining the class. Then I am creating the another class, main method. I am creating the object. I am accessing the method. So this is how you can implement the abstract interfaces. So simply interfaces are nothing but a constant values or abstract methods. So I think in C program we have some constant values. That is what we can call that. In the starting of the program, after hash include stdio.h, we can use that constants, hash define pi space 100. That means entire the program, the value of piv is 100. That constants will be defined by using the keyword hash define. In the C program, we will use the hash define pi 100. So interfaces are also like same concept. So here we are using the same constant values or abstract methods, skeleton methods. So this is the concept of interfaces. So any doubts? So let us see one more example. So there is another way of implementing the interfaces by using the keywords default and static. By using the keywords default and static. So by using these 2 keywords, we can define the abstract method. That means in the previous program. So in the previous program, so the class, the method has no definition here. The method has no definition here. So if you want to treat this as interface, means the method has no definition. That must be abstract method. This should be abstract method. Then only it can be treated as interface. So there is a provision that we can use the keywords default as well as static. We can use the keywords default and static, and we can define here. And we can have we can define the method here. So area is defined in the another class. So by using the keywords default and static, we can define the abstract method in the interface itself. That can be possible. Let us see the example. So let us see this. So he's creating an interface. He's defining an interface by using the keyword interface. Class means class space student, class space X. So interface means interface space interface name. So here he's going to creating the some method compute into y. He's returning cube of the number y cube. He's performing the multiplication y cube. So here method definition is also given here. So method definition is given here. So method definition is possible by using the keyword static. By using the keyword static. So we can define the interface like this also. By using the static also we can define. Then I am creating the another interface, J8 interface 2. So here I am using the final static double PI is equal to 3.14. Some constant value I am defining. And I am defining the another method area of type default. I am giving the keyword default here. Also I am calculating I am defining the method also. Area method also defined here. Compute method also defined here. So this can be possible by using the keywords static as well as default. Static as well as default. So by using these two keywords, we can define the abstract method also. Then I am using the keyword static and I am defining the another method display. So method definition also came here. So this is all about interfaces. I am defining two interfaces here. So this is interface 1, this is interface 2. So these two interfaces are defined by using the keywords default and static. That means I am defining the methods by using the default keyword as well as static keyword. So the method can be defined by using these two keywords. Then I am going, this is the interface definition. Then we need a class to implement the interfaces. So I am creating the class. The class name is interface exec implements interface 1, interface 2. The class implements the interface 1, interface 2. So main method, I am creating an object of type class name. Then I am going to call the methods. IFE object name is IFE dot area. Next interface 1 dot compute 4. 4 means we are passing the argument. So compute means interface 1. So interface 1 dot compute. Next I am going to call the display method. So display method is in the interface 2. So interface 2 dot display. So we can access the methods defined in the interfaces. They are called by using the interface name also. Generally we need an object to access the methods or variables or class members. So in interface, we need the interface name to access the methods. So this can be seen in the next chapter. So simply the basic idea is given here regarding interfaces. Okay, na? So there is another program. Let us see. So here I am creating an interface 1. I am defining some constant value. Next I am creating an interface 2, which extends the properties of interface 1. Then here also I am defining some constant value radius. Next I am creating the third interface. Interface name is 3, which extends the properties of 1 as well as 2. That means first interface and second interface. So here I am defining the method area. So this is the abstract method. I am not defining the area here. So this is the abstract method. Then I am defining this another method, circumference. I am defining the another method, circumference. If you want to define this method means we need either static keyword or default keyword. So I am returning the 2 pi r circumference, circle circumference 2 pi r. Then, so this is the interface 1. I am defining the pi value. I am defining the r value in interface 2. I am defining the area in interface 3. Here I have 3 interfaces. Then these 3 interfaces are implemented by using the class circle. We need a class to implement the interfaces. So class circle implements is a keyword, 3 implements 3, only 3. I am giving only 3. That means 3 extends the properties of 1 and 2. So there is no need to give implements 1 comma 2 comma 3. So interface 3 itself extends the 2, 1 and 2. Then we need 3 itself. Circle implements 3. Then I am defining the area. So area has not defined here. So this is the abstract method. So I am defining the abstract method definition here, pi r square. So this is the definition. Next I am creating the another class, main class, public class circle1, extends the properties of circle. So this is the main class. So main method, I am creating an object C. By using this C, we can access the C dot area or 3 dot circumference. So 3 means interface name. So 3 is interface name, 3 dot circumference. So circumference is defined in interface 3. So 3 dot circumference. So like that we can use the interfaces. So simply interfaces are nothing but a constant values or methods, abstract methods. So in order to implement the abstract classes, we need abstract methods or interfaces, we need a class. So this is the class. So we can access the interface methods or interface members by using the either object or interface name. Either interface name, we can access the methods. So this is the basic introduction to the interfaces. So this is all about the interfaces. So do you have any doubts regarding the interfaces or inheritance concepts? So this is all about the inheritance. So in the next class, we will start the interfaces. Do you have any doubts? Okay, thank you.